Are you in a network marketing company that is an MLM or direct sales? And are you feeling like it's just not living up to the expectations that you had for a business? Does this describe you? Are you always on your phone? Are you constantly in training meetings? Are you regularly looking for the next angle, sale, promotion, or offer so that you can blast it out on social media? Are you sometimes worried that you're bugging people? And are you frustrated that this is just not working out? Is this what God had in mind when he prompted you to go into business? No. Now, if he did have you go into network marketing to get started, is it now time to move? I want to chat with you about why an MLM is not really God's way to do business for you. There is so much more to having a God-centered business, and he really wants you to experience it. They may promise you freedom, flexibility, and fun, but what do you get? And does it really align with God's view of business? Now, we're going to go over these three areas today, and we're really going to look at what this freedom, flexibility, and fun really looks like in God's economy for your business. Join me. This is DeneenTB, your Christian business growth strategist and clarity coach, really helping you go from that overwhelming confusion to focus and direction. And in this video today, I'm going to direct you to actually extracting yourself from your current MLM, network marketing, direct sales, whatever you call it, whatever that company is, and really into God's calling for you in business. So if you're still with me, we are going to get started and get right into this. The first thing we're going to talk about is that freedom word. And it's really the promise of financial freedom. All right, I have to be honest. There is no such thing as easy money. We must work. In fact, God designed us to work even before the fall. If we go back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, this is what God did with Adam, because it says, the Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. And then he created woman to be his helper. So work was always there. But the focus in network marketing is really about the amount of money that you can make and how it's going to be all up to you. The focus, the rewards, the recognition are all based on money. Now, is this supposed to be our focus as believers in Jesus? Are we to be looking at how much we can make, or are we to have a different focus? We all know this verse, I'm sure, from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, and says, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people craving money have wandered away from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows." Okay, I'm not saying that you cannot make money. After all, I'm in business, but if our focus is solely on the money, we are on a slippery slope and we need to beware. And what about if you are working really, really hard and not making any money? Does this mean that you're not successful because the money measurement needle isn't moving? I started in direct sales as well. It was a party platform company, and I remember the explanations that some women would make when they weren't bringing in that much money. They would say things like, "Oh, this is my ministry." But I could hear it in their voice. I could hear the frustration that they were not being financially successful. Why? Because that is the meter of success in my company and in most of these companies. You know, statistics tell us and show us that only 1 to 3%, did you hear that? 1 to 3% of those in direct marketing companies are actually top earners. These are the ones that benefit from those that are under them, a.k.a. you. You are really not your own boss. You're actually working, yes, as an independent contractor, but you're actually working for what we call your upline. And ultimately, you are working for the company's Bottom line, it is not true entrepreneurship, which is about creating a business that is new, that is different, one that transforms people because it's solving their problem. So what does God say that we should care about? What does he say that we should focus on? Helping others. We are each given different gifts and skills and talents and abilities and strengths that are meant to help solve other people's problems. I love what 1 Peter 4:10 says. It says, God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. You know, those things that come easy to you, they actually don't come easy to others. Your job, your work, your business should reflect those gifts and abilities that will truly help others. The money, that will come when you focus on that. God has promised to take care of our needs, not to make us wealthy. The network marketing industry, with its focus on money, is not what God had in mind when he called you into business. Okay, so I want to hear from you. I want to know what your thoughts are about the focus on making money in these companies. What do you think about that? How does that make you feel? We're on to number 2. That was freedom. Now we're talking about flexibility. This is the promise that you can work your own hours. That's what they're always telling us, right? It sounds great. You can set your own schedule. You can take off when you want. You can implement your ideas at any time. But network marketing really has you working all the time. It is this 24/7 mentality that actually begins to creep into your life. You are told that your success is directly proportional to the amount of effort that you put in. So if you want to have a bigger return, aka money and status and bonus trips and all the other rewards that they have, then the harder you must work. Ecclesiastes 2:22 and 23 says this. So what do people get in this life for all their hard work and anxiety? Their days of labor are filled with pain and grief. Even at night, their minds cannot rest. It is all meaningless. If you're not working in something that God has called you into for your business, you will not find it satisfying. In fact, you will continue to find it frustrating and meaningless. John 10:10 says that Jesus came to give us an abundant life, but that is a life that has its focus on him. When your focus is on that next party that you schedule, that next person that you recruit, that next goal that you crush, then you are forgetting this promise of flexibility because your push is to do more and more and more. I know that you are told that it is as simple as scheduling more parties when you want to work more, but it's a lie. If you don't work your business consistently, people forget about you. They're busy. They have other things to do. And that means for you that there's not really any time off. I was with a direct selling company for 5 years, and I actually did really well. I used many, if not all, the tools that were given to me by the company. But let me ask you this. What does it say when I have this idea list of 81 ways to get bookings? If it was so easy to do it whenever I wanted, why would I need so many ideas? I can still remember the panic and the push at the end of each month to make my sales goals so that I could benefit from the maximum ROI, return on investment, from my own sales, from my team sales, from my signups, from the points towards the trip I was trying to earn. You've been there. I know you have. And you know what? Even though I left that company 6 years ago, I still breathe a sigh of relief every time it's the last day of the month because I don't have to think about it. Flexibility means failure when you think that you can just show up every once in a while to run your business. These are not the best business practices for your success. God calls us to work with excellence, not just working to fill some kind of need. If he's really called you into business, then he's called you into something more than work when I have time kind of business. He has called you to be someone else's solution. And I want you to get that. And I want you to embrace that. Colossians 3:23 reminds us to work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. So, answer these questions for me down in the comments. What is the work that God is really calling you to do? How can you start it now at this point in your life and then grow that business as your life changes as well? I would love to know, what is it that God's truly calling you to do? Okay, we're ready for the third word, fun. And this is the promise that they make of socializing, of lasting friendships, and meeting new people. I'll have to admit, when I was a stay-at-home, homeschooling mom, this is exactly what I thought I needed. But this is what I actually found, that it took more time away from my family than I wanted or thought that it would. That it didn't really have me valuing people the same way that God values people. And it changed the way that others actually viewed me. You know, by the time I ended my 5 years with my MLM company, I had a list of over 3,000 contacts. Can I tell you anything about any of them? Not really. Now, I do have a couple of past hostesses that are now my clients in my Calling Clarity program, so I know them very well. Let's look at this promise they make of being social. Now, because I had a party platform, I did a lot of parties. I did them at night and on weekends, and I don't want to forget all of the vendor events and fairs and mom-to-mom sales that I also did. Because each of these interactions at a party or at an event was very quick, you are not really thinking about each individual person. You're really, to be honest, you're looking at them at dollar signs and thinking, what can I sell them? You know, God's view of people is so very different, and he calls us to be different too. We are to love one another. Can we do that with just casual connections? No. John 13:34 and 35, Jesus says, "So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Your business should reflect your love for people, especially God's people. Again, God has equipped you through your abilities, your gifts, to be someone's answer to their problem. When you are in network marketing, there is so much excitement around being around new people and meeting new people and making new friends. And you would think that it would just be for extroverted people. What I've found is that it's not the case. I remember at one of our leader meetings with the company, we were split into 4 groups based on our personality. And do you know what happened? Each of those 4 groups contained almost exactly the same number of consultants. It was surprising. I'll admit, at the time when I was in it, I was having a lot of fun. Now, I look back now and I see how, if allowed, it would have really changed me, and not for what I thought was good. My focus would have been totally in a different direction. I would have been chasing fantasies, as they say in Proverbs 12, verse 11, and not chasing what God wanted for me. Yes, I have to admit, God did use my MLM experience as a stepping stone into my next thing. At the time, I was drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. What I mean by that is there is a specific way, a specific training in MLMs. I really did soak it all up and follow it. I bought into what they said was the fun. But let me ask you, have you experienced this? Have you seen people starting to treat you differently? They kind of respond to your posts actually less and less. They only really talk to you when they need something from you, your product that you're selling, or they avoid you like crazy when you have a sale going on. Or you hear a lot of just plain no's, which of course you are taught in an MLM company. That's just bringing you closer to yes, right? Let me ask you this. Have you lost friends because of your MLM or direct selling business? Do you feel like it's not really very fun because people are practically shunning you? Again, I go back to, as believers, we are to work with excellence. That means with integrity, with honesty, with consistency, and so many other principles. So what does it say to someone if you invite them for coffee so that you can just pitch them your opportunity? Not fun. These are really the top reasons that people join MLMs, direct selling companies, network marketing companies. The promise of freedom, flexibility, and fun. Is that what you have experienced? God has so much more for you. Now is the time to move to the next thing. I would love to help give you some clarity towards what that is and how you can achieve it. Let's have a chat, the two of us. There's going to be a link down in the description so you can make your appointment today to chat with me about your next step, the next thing God has for you. I would love to hear your own network marketing, MLM, direct sales story. Go ahead and put that down in the comments and make that appointment. Let's see how God can use that experience as your stepping stone into the business that he is really calling you to do, the one that serves him and solves the problem of those that you are called to serve. This is DeneenTB. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share all of the things with this video. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, be filled to overflowing.